How's everybody doing out there today? So I just thought I'd share a video, another couple funny things. Usually these things, I remember these things as I'm talking to like friends that I grew up with and, who are also ex-JWs, and we get into reminiscing about old stuff and cracking up about all the old stories. But had a conversation and two real funny things, we started, let me take my glasses up a little bit. Two real funny things we started talking about. One of them happened with an elder, and one of them happened with a sister from another congregation that I was kind of talking to, but not really. But it got a little bit crazy. But the first one, so there was this elder. He was a real cool. He was a younger elder. Probably, I was probably 18 or something. He was probably like 35 or something. He was really young, to be an elder. But a cool dude. He would always rent a basketball place out where the witnesses would all come play basketball. We would have a fun time. But he just called me one day out the blue. He never called me. Like, he never studied with me or anything. I would just see him at the hall, see him at basketball. I had a little bit of a reputation because I had been away from for a while. I'd been, fighting and other stuff. But he just called me out the blue one day and said, "Hey, I'm about to come get you. Are you busy?" I said, "No, I'm not busy. I was like washing my car or something." He said, "I'm about to come get you. I need you to roll somewhere with me." And that was weird. So I'm like, "Roll somewhere with you? Okay, that's cool." I mean, I figured he was like, trying to do like trying to do the bonding thing some elders would try to do with some of the teenagers in the hall. I thought he was going to take me to go get a burger or something. I don't know where we were going, but he came. He got there about 20 minutes later, picked me up, and was like, "Come with me. I need you to roll with me. We got to go up here and get this money." And I'm like, "Go get some money? Like, what's going on?" So to explain a little bit, I got to backtrack a little bit. All the witnesses in the congregation, for some reason, were selling this prepaid legal service. It goes by some other name now. It's still out there now. To me, it felt like a pyramid scheme. So they were like, if you buy a membership and then you also sign up to sell it or something, then whoever got you to sign up, you're under their umbrella and they get like $200. You pay $100 to sign up. It was like all this money going back and forth. So, and you only got a certain amount of time to sell it. So, like, it had been passing around. Even my mom was doing, like, all these different people got involved. And so what they would do is, if like one witness didn't have enough people to sign up, because like, I guess once you signed up, you had like, I don't know, 2 weeks or something to find 5 people to sign up for the service. If you didn't, like, you didn't get the bonus money or something. So what people were doing is, if someone in the little group didn't have enough people to sign up, they would say, "Okay, I'll give you somebody, that I was about to have sign up." That way they get the money and the person above them gets the money. It was some crazy stuff going on. So all these different people like owed each other money from getting people to sign up for this service. I'm surprised that Jehovah's Witnesses were even doing it, because like I said, to me, it just looked like a complete pyramid scheme. They asked me if I wanted to get involved. I was like, "Nah, I ain't getting involved with nothing to do with that." But this guy, this brother, we'll call him Brother Stevens. Brother Stevens was like near the top of the little pyramid in that congregation. So like the different people had signed up through him, or they had signed up through someone who had signed up through him. And so for him to get his bonus money, he had to make sure everybody like under him got their people in time. He signed up more people. It was crazy. And if I remember correctly, the service was like $20 a month or something they had to get people to sign up for. But people like owed him money. And so that's just a little bit of a backstory for why someone owed him money. So he gets me, said, "We got to go get this money." And I'm like, "Go get this money? What you mean, man?" He's like, "Brother so-and-so owes me money, and he just told me I get it when I get it and stop calling him. And he told me he was going to pay me last Friday. So I'm about to go over there and I'm going to get the money from him. I just want you to have my back in case something goes left." And I'm like, what in the world is going on? I don't know if y'all ever seen like the David Chappelle show where he was riding with Wayne Brady, and Wayne Brady was like getting gangster, and Dave Chappelle is looking at him like, what in the world? Because Wayne Brady has like this clean cut image. That's how I felt sitting in the car. And I'm like, all this stuff was going through my head. So first I'm like, he's just like, he's joking. It's a test. He's like trying to set me up so that I can jump out and like hit somebody. And then he can be like, haha, gotcha, this fellowship. You know, and I'm like, man, I ain't falling for that. I'm thinking it's got to be a test. But then he's talking on the way over there like, yeah, man, he's talking crazy to me. And I'm a witness, but I'm a businessman too. And, you know, you can't just talk crazy to me. And he's going to have to come up off this money today because he owed me. And now I'm going to take a loss if I don't get this money by today. Like, he was going crazy. And this was a guy I never, ever thought was anything other than spiritual. He was an elder. And I'm like, man, I'm like, why did you call me to come get me? He said, man, just in case, I know, you can handle yourself if it goes left. If I end up getting in a fight, he's got his son's over there, and his family's there with him. I just wanted to make sure somebody was there in case things got crazy, man. Somebody to have my back. And I'm just sitting there like tripping, like, man, this can't be happening, man. So we get over there. I'm just sitting there the whole time, like looking at him, like, come on, man, just say it's a joke, man. Stop playing. And he's like, nah, it's not a joke. I'm dead serious. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, we're gonna pull up. There's gonna be some terrible acting, and they're gonna like act like they're gonna fight, and this is all some joke on me. And we're gonna all go have lunch together. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm thinking. We pull up. He goes up. He's like, come on, let's go. I get out with him. We go up to the door. He banging on the door. And then the other brother comes to the door like, man, what you want? And Brother Stevens is like, I need my money, man. And I'm looking at their faces like expecting one of them to laugh or be smirking, trying to hold it in. Man, they were serious. They were serious. I was in the middle of some elder beef, man. And, the other dude wasn't an elder. The other guy was like a ministerial servant. But I was in the middle of their beef, man, and he's like, yeah, you owe me this money. And then he's looking like confused, like I'm looking, like I can't believe this elder came to my door like this. And he looked at me, and I looked at him like, I don't know, man. I don't know. But they just start arguing back and forth, and it didn't get physical, but the fact that I was there for that was crazy. I mean, he was the brother in the door was like, what, you come over here to try to rough me up and take your money? You trying to rob me? And it got a little crazy for a minute. Things calmed down. They got the money. He got the money, or he got a check for the money is what he got. He wanted cash. He got a check if I remember correctly. But the fact that he would call me, like, what if something really popped off, man, and we end up going to jail, me and this elder, for going over somebody's house trying to take some money from him that he owed for a pyramid scheme. Like, that was I'm telling you, when I tell you, my Kingdom Hall was the craziest, man. It was the craziest. My congregation, things went wild, man. But that was just a funny story we were cracking up about, because it was just an awkward ride home when he took me home. Like, yeah, I told you he was gonna give me my money, and I'm still just sitting there like, man, this got to be a joke, man. Like, this couldn't have really been for real and just happened. And he kept his story all the way, dropped me off like, hey, thanks for having my back, and went on his way, and that was that. And I was cracking up. I told my mom about it. She was cracking up. I'm like, man, I don't know what just happened, but that could have went a whole nother way, if they would have like just started fighting. Like, I don't even know like what I'd have done. Like, I probably would have just let them fight so I could see who won. So I don't know what I'd have done. But that was just a hilarious story. My second story involved a young lady from another congregation. So I wasn't dating her, but like we had mutual friends, and we had like been out, like the witnesses would like rent out like not a whole bowling alley, but like several lanes in a bowling alley. Like once a week. They would also rent out a skating rink like once a week, and have like witness only functions in my city. So, and from other cities close by used to come. So we would be at these events, and this one young lady, I was like hanging out with her there. She was pretty cool. She was a pretty girl, but nothing serious. And one of my close friends was dating one of her close friends. And so that's how we ended up, they would go there and meet, and, of course, witnesses want you to be chaperone. So that was kind of chaperone because everybody's there together bowling or skating, whichever one it happened to be. So just as a byproduct of him being one of my close friends, I used to always be in close proximity to her. And, we used to talk. And she was like, one day she told me like, oh yeah, I think you're cute. I would like to get to know you better, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, you're attractive too. It's, we can talk, we can see what happens. But that was it. It was nothing serious. And, she showed up it had been several times. So several days of bowling, several days of skating. I think we may have went to the movies as a group once or twice. I think I did buy her popcorn or something, I think I did, but I don't really remember. It's been a long time. But she by no means was my girlfriend. We weren't dating. We weren't engaged. Nothing. I had another young lady at my hall that I was kind of talking to, kind of in the same situation. My mom really liked that girl from my hall. And my mom and her mom used to try to do the matchmaking thing. And we would just kind of laugh it off. But in the meantime, we did, talk on the phone a little bit and we were getting to know each other a little bit. Nothing sexual or anything like that happened. But one Sunday, I just walk into the hall, I'm saying hi to people or whatever. And then I look up, it's like 5 minutes before the meeting starts. I look up at the entrance, like our hall was set up where, so, you got the big meeting area, then back behind us, there was like the two smaller, little rooms for when you break apart for the theocratic ministry school. And then the literature desk was right there. And then right in front of the literature desk was the front door. So front door opens up and I see the girl walk in. The girl that, from the other congregation. She was like, there was like 25 congregations, I think, in our city. So I never thought she would be at my hall, but she walked in and I just looked like, man, that's weird. Maybe she here to hear, a talk by somebody or something. But, I definitely didn't want to overly, go over and like spend a lot of time with her because the other young lady I was talking to from my hall was there. So she walks in. There's not a lot of time. It's only like 5 minutes before the meeting starts. So she walks up and starts talking to people. She walked to my friend, who she knew, and was talking to him. They were across hall. I didn't know what they were saying. And he points at my mom. And I'm like, why is he pointing at my mom? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on? I'm at the other side of the hall trying to stay away. He points at my mom, and then she turns around and starts walking towards my mom, and he looks at me with this big grin on his face. We always used to, like, play jokes on each other and try to get each other, and one-up each other, and crack up about it, you know what I mean? So he looks at me, just smiling real big, laughing, and I'm confused, like, man, what's going on? She walks up to my mom, and my mom used to sit, up further. I used to sit back towards the back of the Kingdom Hall. She walks up to my mom and my stepfather. My mom had got remarried to an elder. She walks up to them and she's talking to him. I'm standing in the back like, man, what's going on? I was completely confused. And then, like, at that point, the meeting was about to start. So those 5 minutes had passed. It was a short conversation. She walked away from my mom and her and another girl who was with her I didn't really know too well. They came walking to the back. As they're walking back, my mom turned and looked at me. And my mom's real down to earth. She's cool. She like looked and she just rolled her eyes like, uh-oh. You know what I mean? She had this grin on her face. And then she sat down. They came walking back. And the girl sat right beside me. And what can I say? Like, the meeting was about to start. They were like, friends, please take your seats. She came and sat right beside me. And if you were a witness, that if two people are sitting together, two young people and of opposite sex, one from another hall, y'all sitting together, y'all engaged. You know what I mean? Y'all getting married. That's all it is to it. In people's mind. And people are looking, like, and then the girl from my congregation that I was kind of talking to, like, she's just staring at me, and I'm looking like I didn't even know what to say. I didn't have time to say nothing. The meeting was starting, and then she just sat, she was like right beside me, and then song started, she was singing all loud. You know, she was not a normal person in our congregation, so people were like looking back to see who's singing that loud. I'm like looking down at my songbook, like just thinking like, man, what in the world is going on? Like at that point, if I got up and just moved seats, it would be more awkward. You know what I mean? So I didn't even say nothing to her at first. You know, the song was starting. She came right beside me, did the prayer. We sat down. And then I just kind of whispered to her, like, what are you doing here? You know, what's going on? What are you doing here? She was like, oh, I wanted to come to your congregation today. And, you know, we talked about, you know, hanging out some other times. I wanted to meet your mom. And, you know, I just wanted to come to your meeting instead of mine today. And I'm like, you know, I didn't want to be mean. I didn't want to be cruel. And I also couldn't like make a big scene there. But I'm like, huh? You know what I mean? Like, huh? Like we just hung out a little bit, you know, at the bowling alley. Like I was completely confused, man, completely confused. But everyone in the congregation was looking. Well, not everyone. I felt like everyone was looking. But the people I knew, you know, so all the younger people were looking like, oh, he got a girl now. He got like a girl. Like she showed up and she's sitting with him at the meeting. Like I said, if you're a witness, you know, if somebody come and sit with you at the meeting, y'all go together. You know what I mean? Y'all go together. Y'all get married. Y'all a couple. You know what I mean? So, because witnesses don't just casually date and switch people. When you sitting with somebody at the meeting, that's your girl. You know what I mean? That's your boo. Y'all about to be together. So I was mad, and I'm looking at the other girl, and she just kept looking. Like she was sitting up, you know, closer to the stage, and like every 2-3 minutes, she would just look back. And sometimes she shake her head, roll her eyes, anytime we make eye contact. So I started, you know, trying not to make eye contact. This was before, you know, text messaging and all that stuff. You know what I mean? So nowadays, I would have been able to send a text to her phone like, hey, man, this is not what it looks like. This girl just showed up here. I promise as soon as this meeting's over, I'm getting up and rolling out. We can talk about it. Because I actually liked the girl a little more that went to my congregation. But what could I do? I was just stuck. So for those 2 hours, I just sat there, you know, and she's like in between whispering little stuff to me. She kept commenting during the Watchtower study, so just bringing more attention. Because, you know, anytime someone comments at your congregation and you don't recognize the voice, people start turning around to see who that is. Or if they don't recognize the name that the conductor says, they turn around, you know, to see who it is. I don't even think the conductor knew her name. So he had to say, you know, sister right there, what's your name? And she said the name, then she commented again. That time he knew the name. But it was just so awkward for me, man. It was hilarious. I kept looking at my boy who had sent her up to my mom. He's just cracking up like he couldn't hold himself together. He's just like dying laughing. Like people looking at him like he's crazy. Like, what's wrong with him? He had to get up a couple times, go to the bathroom. I got up one time when he went. I saw him get up and go to the bathroom. I got up and went back to like, my man, what's going on? Did you know she was coming? And he just was laughing. I think he knew she was coming, but he was just laughing like, oh man, that's your girl now. Y'all gonna be together. And after the meeting, I was like, okay, well, thanks for coming to the meeting. She's like, so what you doing after this? I was like, oh man, you know, I got something to do. She's like, I was thinking, you know, are y'all going to field service? Like, we can go on field service, and then after that, maybe we can all go get something to eat. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to field service today. I was going to, but not now. So I was like, no, I'm not going to field service today. I got my car is messed up. Like, I got to go fix my car. And she's like, okay, what time will you be done with that? Like, I'm over on this side of town now. I want to, you know, kind of make a day of it. And I'm like, I'm going to be tied up the rest of the day. And then she just knew I was lying. She's like, okay, now you're just making excuses. You know, you're not interested in me. Like, this was all right there in the hall, you know, after the meeting. I'm like, look, I got to go. And she's like still talking. I'm like, bye. And I just grabbed my briefcase and just like started getting up out the hall. Luckily, she didn't like make no scene and come like after me or anything. I just hurried, went to my car. People looking at me, trying to talk to me as I leave. My boy over there cracking up. The girl that I was talking to at the hall just staring at me, shooting lasers through my head. I'm like, man, this was crazy. So that's just my second little story. Funny times at the hall. I wanted to keep it, 20 under 20, so I went a little bit over. But that's just my another little story. A couple little funny things that happened at the hall to me. I don't think I ever really hung out with the old girl again, the one who came and showed up at my congregation. I don't think I ever did again. She was offended by how I was acting, and I was offended that she just showed up like making us a couple, you know what I mean? So I think we were equally offended. And then the girl who was from my congregation, she got mad at me too, and that didn't end up going nowhere either. You know what I mean? So I lost and lost again. But just a little funny story. I like to share little fun and funny things that happen at the congregation, just to share the other side of things. Things aren't always bad. Things aren't always sad. You know what I mean? The doctrine is fake. The doctrine is crazy. But there's some good people, and some fun times I had, at the congregation, at the Kingdom Hall, that had nothing to do with the doctrine and the fake religion. But just wanted to share. Leave me a comment if you had something similar happen. And I'll talk to y'all later.